All right. Are we live? There we go. Good morning. Good morning. We're going to get started in a couple of minutes with the live stream. Let me just finish getting set up, let everybody know. We're going to be doing live analysis on the Forex and whatever else you might want to look at to help your trading and education if you're still learning. So we'll get started in a couple of minutes. Say what's up if you're here early. Oh, okay. Just getting set up. Give a second for people to get in here and we'll get going. My phone signed me out. What? Checking my sound. Good morning. Good morning. Get started in a minute. Come on in. Live chat. Pop out chat. Okay. Do you enter long position or based on 1 hour analysis? My analysis involves identifying Wyckoff phase in the background, which is based on a 1 hour chart, and collecting details about the whole situation. It's a kind of an oversimplified question. Good morning. Good morning. We'll get into everything today. You can observe. I pretty much have a routine. If you're new, you'll get an idea of what I do. Roger, God morning. Well, that's even better. Good morning. Good morning. God morning to you, Roger. All right, looks like everything's running good. Let me just switch something over 1 second. Checking news for today. Phillips, switch. Good morning. So I've been, long story short, busy. So I'm back. Haven't really looked at the charts this week. Tired. But yeah. I always say that, right? I'm always tired. So today, Wednesday, November 16th, what do we have for news? And what do we have this week? How do you adjust your fib setting, mine and trading view? Okay, cool. We'll get to all the questions. Good morning, Mr. Troy. Today is the 16th. We have High Impact News U.S. session. Canada's got its CPI, and U.S. has core retail sales. So that's a big jump in activity there on the news. 8:30 a.m. New York time. Very often, on my main trading method, right? So a lot of you know this, but for the new people, sometimes trades that are projected actually rely on that news activity to get set up. We're not news traders or anything like that. It's already priced in, but sometimes before and sometimes after. But that's a focus of activity, usually meaning losers lose and winners start winning around that time or soon after. There's no interest rates decisions, right? This week we're good. What do we have? Some stuff on the pound. That's late for the pound. Hearings. Okay, whatever. Let's see the rest of the week. Today's my Monday because I haven't looked at the charts. Been busy. Tomorrow, manufacturing, unemployment claims. I mean, it's the middle of November. It's going to be nice unless we have some annoying stuff coming up, which we don't. Okay, good. Good. Kind of regular, nice, medium news week. Not too much, not too little. What do you think today during high volatility news? Dollar will gain strength or not? I have not looked at the charts. Let me get one more sip. Of course you're going to find that out. You don't have to ask. So this is me not looking at the charts and just starting from scratch, right? So let's just go through the process. And long story short, I'm going to be looking for trades based on the background, if you know VSA, or based on the phase, if you know Wyckoff. That is my main method, so to speak, barring a lot of things from that methodology, to look for the highest probability setup of the day. If we're in markup here, we're going to be looking for reaccumulation, right? If you know that stuff. Besides that, I can scalp in either direction while I wait, if you know what I'm saying. So, Pete, what do we do? How do we trade? Where do we start? What time frame? All right, so let me just back out and kind of just get a view of where we are and everything. Mainly, I'm going to be working off the 1 hour and the 5 minute, right? Obviously, we're in a very strong uptrend. If you just back out, consecutive days of big moves up, couple of down days, but very strong momentum to the upside here, right? That's the first thing. Simple observation. Okay, see this downtrend? Yeah, we have higher highs, higher lows on the daily chart, right? And a nice momentum. We're not struggling to move up with fake breakouts or anything, right? And that tells us obviously our general trend. And if volume doesn't tell us to go against that trend, then I'm going with it. Very important. Trend is easy to find, right? In this case, uptrend. Weakness is easy to find, right? High volume rejection off high prices. Do we have that? We have a little. See how that works? So, followed by some buying. Actually, let's look. Yesterday was an interesting day. That normally doesn't happen. And we'll get in there on the 5 minute and get some more detail. But we're looking at the volume, the activity. What's up? Sir, you never show us your trading room systems. We're wishing to see your trading room. I don't have a trading room. I might again one day, and I used to. This is the trading room. You're here. Yeah, recording session. I had a band 2-day lockout. I'm the engineer, These are, friends of mine. And I'm drained, even though I'm sitting here clicking a mouse. Long sessions. But it was good. Went very well. Interesting situation back here, right? We have high volume showing weakness, and we have high volume showing, well, rejection of lows, strength with an up move reaction. And that's generally U.S. dollar driven. Pete, what about the dollar CAD? Yeah, it's the same thing in reverse. Dollar Swiss, right? So there's a lot of activity yesterday. What was yesterday? Let me go back and see. Again, I'm just getting started, catching up to even what's going on this week. If you're interested in observing me getting caught up, maybe you know half of these things already. But I'm looking at what happened in New York yesterday to create that activity late in the day. Not much. All right, whatever. So the chart's going to tell us what it means. But generally, we're going to stay with the trend, right? Unless we see reason not to. If we look at the weakness, can we really call that, and I'm talking about the high volume here. It's not climactic. It's not that high. Just comparing to the left. It's certainly something to note that there was large selling up here. But again, the small time frames give you a lot more detail. We just know that there's high volume rejection there, selling, and then there's also some buying right into that low. We say that because it's high volume leading to an up move, stopping the down move. The volume here. Let's see the 5 minute. Now, it doesn't matter really what dollar pair I'm looking at because this is U.S. dollar driven, so this applies to everything along with whatever the other currency is doing. But there's our weakness on the 5 minute. Does it come in as weakness? Is it really there? Yes, it is. This is a nice maneuver by the smart money. We can get into all that stuff. And looking at the down move, again, here's where the activity stopped at the down move, right? So we have buying and selling close together. Maybe a bit more volume on the sell, right? And a little more of a traditional reversal on that quick fake break, high volume rejection. This is pretty tradable if you're not too worried about the trend yesterday. Pretty tradable, right? Just to point that out. Fake break pattern, my favorite, the market's favorite. Here's a nice no demand drop in volume at the 14 EMA, right? A lot of you know this, especially if you have my course. Here it is again, right? Same old pattern. Selling comes in, buying gets tested, and you see the low volume leading to the break. Yeah. So if you're not too worried about the background or, this is a pretty textbook situation there, and there would be the short right in here as it breaks the 14 after the low volume, no demand, after the weakness, right? So maybe some of you traded that. And that's, clearly telling you, okay, there's some buying coming in as well there. So I'm just getting facts off the chart so far, right? Oh, was it PPI news? Okay, thank you, Troy. Yeah, if I don't know something, I'll just ask you guys. I don't have to check. Yeah. But you notice that news brought the activity up to stop the down move, and then you see the result is actually stabilizing and moving up. We did not continue down at all. So this is factual information. Now, every day is different, right? And this is something you don't normally see. But that's fine. We know exactly what it is, and we'll work with it. Something we don't normally see is strength and weakness this close together. Meaning just marking an area where we saw large selling, right? And an area where we saw large buying. I like to get below the closes. There's that guy sticking out there. So I'm just going to generalize. Buying and selling close together. Sort of an equilibrium, right? And getting stuck in the middle is also a symptom of that once you have that, right? But that's factual information there. Mark, you're going very good. Welcome back. So yesterday we saw that pattern, something you don't normally see, but it's there. We got to recognize it. There was a little more maybe on the weakness. You see the volume and the traditional sort of reversal on the wide spreads, the quick reversal, the no demand, and then again the buying. So that's U.S. dollar driven. So it doesn't matter what dollar pair. It's going to be, likely reverse or similar on dollar CAD, dollar Swiss. But we'll go through things. But as far as, if you go to the dollar index, you'll see, again, same thing in reverse. Lots of activity close together and ending up in the middle. So we have sort of an equilibrium sideways stuff. And it's not, right, it's not sideways because of lack of activity. It's sideways because lower prices bought buyers, higher prices bought sellers from the U.S. dollar index point of view, right? And we're just sort of in the middle for the moment. So it's important to understand the context of whatever's going to go on today with this stuff behind here. If we didn't have buying here on higher volume, right, and we had this large selling, we'd be saying, okay, good, more likely looking to sell, right, and so on. So we have to really see where the imbalance is going to show up in supply demand, right? Yeah, Mark, you definitely foresaw that. Nice. I haven't traded this week, but yeah. Shared with you and your community live here. Yeah. Very good. Happy to hear you're doing well. So yesterday, more or less a similar story. Look at the Australian dollar, right? Again, the best thing you're going to learn here is how to know what the heck is going on. FTX. Oh, God. Let's get into it later. Let's get into that one later. This dude, Sam, was just a front man. He was just a front man. He had nothing to do with it. He was a moron. All right, let's go. Anyway, as soon as Jim Cramer said he was he was great, you should have known. But anyway, again, this really shows, right? Pete, what does this mean? High volume here, high volume there, effort versus result. There's no result. It's sideways off there, right? The selling, the buying, all this VSA style looking things that ended up conflicting and giving you no result. See? So every day is different. We haven't seen this in a little while. It's a good lesson, right, to start off the day. Where is smart money positioned from? And in what direction? And then again, the highest volume, the highest activity in the market is showing sort of a mess, right? Both directions. And that's good to know as we go forward. Yeah. We'll get into that. Oh my! There's a bit of insight. You know what I'm saying? They showed their hand a little bit. If you know what I'm saying about what's going on with crypto. Kind of showed their hand. We'll get into it. It's what we thought. Okay, very important stuff there to cover, and it's good that we start off the session. If you're watching this in the future, hi future people, with something educational and that we haven't really seen in a while. Are the yen pairs the same? Very often they are, but it depends what the yen is doing, right? Because the U.S. dollar and the yen normally drive things the majority of the time. And if I look at the yen here, it's different. It's more straightforward, isn't it? What are we seeing? Weakness. Selling on up moves here on high volume, selling here, right? So as far as the yen weakness, that can translate to strength as we get to the yen pairs now. And there it is. And now the last few weeks, by the way, right, we've really been focusing on dollar pairs, U.S. dollar pairs, because the yen was so sloppy. Well, today, we're looking at strong activity yesterday on the dollar pairs, more straightforward than on the yen pairs, more straightforward than the U.S. dollar pairs, right? More straightforward than the U.S. dollar pairs, right? So let's get to the yens now that we know what's going on there. And this is much more straightforward bullish. Much more, right? Strength, weakness into here, not very much at all. Look at this maneuver. And all in here, we just saw the 5-minute strength, 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 right? And you see what this is? Yeah, the yen pairs are back. Look at that. What is that? 618 overshoot. Pete, why are you obsessed with 618 overshoot? It's not me. There it is again. Very common area to buy, right? And we saw on the 5-minute. Now, this is late in the day. It's not normally when things are going to set up. Nevertheless. Ooh, look at the lack of supply in the test right there. Okay. So maybe a little more focus on the yen pairs right now. They have the cleaner background. Smart money is long on the yen pairs. It's sort of a mixed bag on the dollar pairs, but you know, we've been in that strong uptrend. They've probably not really gotten out. We maybe would have seen more weakness than that. But you know, based on the analysis we looked at the dollar pairs, we might want to test some of these levels where we saw buying and selling close together and see what's going on, right? Now that we know our background situation, the dollar pairs, once again, maybe we come through here and don't see selling. Maybe we see massive selling, right? So to get out of the middle of this range, right? Being in the middle of the range between weakness and strength is very unpredictable. And it could just get stuck and then start moving faster once we get to the high or low, right? Kind of is stuck. So let's see if we can test the high maybe. But yeah, maybe you've already noticed. Sir, generally recommend stop losses for how many pips? What's your general? I can't just throw a number at you, man. I don't even know if you know the setups. 27.3 pips is the magic stop loss on any setup. No. I will tell you this about answering question about stop loss. You put your stop loss in a place where your trade loses a lot of probability. Therefore, you don't get kicked out prematurely, right? And you don't stay in a trade longer than you should, right? So you put your stop loss in a spot where the setup starts to lose probability. 27.3. Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of into the yen pair bullishness right now, right? You do 26.352 pip stop loss. Exactly. That's how the account will grow. Now you know the secret. But logically, right, you want to get out of a trade when you lose probability. You don't want to get kicked out while you're still waiting for it to move and nothing's really changed, you know, and so on. And you don't want it so big that you're just in a bad trade that's running against you. You know, there's times where it just falls apart based on the pattern, what the charts are telling you. All right. So I want to let the dollar pairs communicate, let the US dollar communicate what it wants to do. And the yen is very, very straightforward now. And I'm looking for, so as far as, right, let's focus on the yens for a second. So we did in our cycle here, right? If you know the Wyckoff, you know the phases, forget it. Don't worry about it. Lower lows, lower highs. It's called a markdown. Stopping that on high volume. You're beginning your accumulation phase. This is accumulation. How do we know it's accumulation? Because there's buying into down moves, right? Not much selling into up moves. Not much. The top of this range is the automatic rally. This is now the accumulation range. Smart money is building up long positions. They are buying low. Here, here, here. Started there, right? 5-minute confirms, right? Okay. And now this is the euro yen, but they're going to be basically similar. if we get through this level, top of the accumulation range, right? We are in markup. We are in the uptrend. They tend to do that when there's lack of supply, telling them they're not going to get lower prices anymore. It's time to mark up. So we're actually seeing that tested now. We'll get in there and look. What's up? Looks like the chat's popping. Okay. So we have the yen pairs in accumulation into markup, or not into markup yet, but it tried a couple of times. When a markup fails to break the automatic rally, I update it. So that's now our automatic rally. Meaning once we get above here, and particularly if you don't see weakness, we're likely trending up, right? So smart money is long against the yen. So says the chart, factual information. Dollar pairs got a little sloppy. That's got to work itself out. Yeah, that could happen on news or hopefully sooner, maybe. We'll see. Australian dollar, again, you see, of course, it's the same thing against the yen because the yen is weak. So everything's strong against it, unless it's particularly some weak currency, right? But there's the automatic rally. Well, initially, just to go through it, right? There, tried to break, failed, weakness, supply. So it comes down and they buy more on what? A fake break of the previous swing and a fib retracement. Yeah, it's all the same. So we update it. It's late in the day nonsense. We update it. Now, it doesn't mean I have to wait for that to break to get into a trade. We just want to know where the range ends and we can call it an uptrend, the markup, right, coming off of this. Now, it could fail, right? This is the template of the market. Now, if you didn't know better and you're looking at this chart, you'd probably want to do that. Well, that's easy. But that is much less likely. And any down moves, I'd be looking to buy. Because that's what smart money's doing. They're loading up on longs against the yen. What looks the cleanest? Maybe the euro yen, right? Now I start to narrow it down, right? Which one might I really want to get in, right? Our strength, looking at our volume. You know, the indicator, right, is usually right with the colors, right, at a glance. And you see the green representing the buy areas and the red representing the sell, which is very low volume compared to that buying, right? Checking the other ones, it's a little more of a mixed bag. Again, the indicator sometimes is right. But, you know, if it's rejection of high prices, that is certainly selling. This one I would probably consider strength on a little fib there, retracement, but green. This should be green. Yeah, so it's not all perfect, but it's certainly all bullish against the yen. And yeah, the euro yen looks the best. They're likely all going to correlate, of course, because when that yen, if the yen starts doing what it's forecasting it would like to do, then everything's just going to move up against it, right? Pound versus the yen and euro yen and everything, unless they're particularly weak or something. One second. Hey, Carb, you in here? Get back to work, Carb. So the dollar pairs have to clean up. Again, this is the analysis that I've just given is usually the the one trade on average per day. And for this particular method, that really is the bullseye trade. Right? Besides that, I can scalp based on small time frame imbalances, supply demand that give 10, 20 pips, whatever. I have no problem selling. Probably don't want to sell the yen pairs, but short term we could have a lot of supply coming in. For example, telling us to buy. Okay, so what to do next on these bullish yen pairs, right? What to do next? Mark areas. Now that we've determined that we're bullish, we're in accumulation. Sorry, I'm moving everything around. I didn't mess it up, did I? No, okay. We want to mark areas that we'd like to come down, right? We know that if we bought here, we don't get as good of a price as some of this smart buying down here, right? And maybe we get another chance. So in accumulation, looking to buy on down moves on strength. I need to clear my throat really good. Hold on. So we're going to mark up areas. Oops. We're going to mark up areas that are going to tell us about buying. If, where, when more buying is coming in. Because as a buyer, us, we want to align with them as much as possible, right? Bit late to buy, in your opinion. Buy low, exactly what I was about to say, Mark. You are correct. I'm not looking to get in right here. If you notice, right, the high keeps failing to break once, twice, right? That's a bad trade. Oh, you're $1. Okay, yeah, we'll get to that. This is much cleaner, though, as far as the accumulation today here. So we want to align with buying, right? I didn't buy yesterday. I'm here flat. Let's see where I can see them accumulating, right? Align with that. Where does that typically show up? Of course, into down moves. Fake break patterns. We have a swing point there. We could get a fake break that could go for it here. Looking to buy off strength there is one possibility. Normally in a range, I don't draw fib retracements, but we are clearly in a accumulation situation. 618 overshoot and all that. If it was a flat range and volume wasn't telling us much, I wouldn't really worry about drawing a fib in the middle. Kind of like that, right? Which way you draw the fib, high to low or low to high, or right? No thanks. We'll let that clean up. So this is the kind of stuff, if we can get these lower prices. All right. So now that we have the background, right, the phase, whatever you want to call it, defined as accumulation, we're looking to align with that on buying. Now, on these areas of buying, right, if we see potential buying coming in, if you look to the left, these areas of buying, you don't have to get out of the accumulation range and go into the uptrend to make money. Unless you're buying right here, right? That's bad. That's where we are now. That's not where I want to buy. So if we come down and see strength, right, and we just go to the top again today, that's a good trade, right? You get in here, huge. So even just buying in the lower areas of accumulation and looking to get out at the higher areas of the range, especially if it's not looking to go into markup, you get weakness here, right? And that's still a good trade. And so we want to not be a step behind buying late, buying high here. Okay. That's how you deal with accumulation. But Pete, what if it charts? What if it starts to trend up, right? What do we do? Well, if we break out to the upside and the and we're not seeing weakness, very important. We're not seeing right? Here's this high, fake breakout, failed breakout. Here's the high again. Are we failing the breakout, right? If so, we get a chance to buy low. If we actually break out and not see weakness, then we're likely to start trending up, and I would start treating that now like an uptrend. Right? Makes sense? So you get out of here instead of fake breakouts, right? This is the other scenario, right? If it doesn't move down, it just starts moving up. What do? If there's not weakness, if you're not seeing high volume selling into the moves here, the lower the better, right? As far as weakness. I'm referring to VSA. I'm referring to high volume selling, rejecting it back down. Like we see buying there, selling. If that's not there, I'm treating it like an uptrend already, right? I'm going to draw fib retracements. I'm looking for lack of supply at high prices, lack of weakness, and of course, strength into down moves, right? Very often the first fib retracement, if you break out here, you get a fib retracement or a break test continuation pattern, right? This is some of the stuff you look for here. You finally break out, right? It's not a fake breakout. You're not seeing lots of weakness. The lower, the better. And you do a break test, which is actually in part of the Wyckoff template, right? That you do a test there. Of course, it's only a template. It doesn't have to happen, but that's one thing to look for. But the key, right, the signals from going into the accumulation into markup is not seeing weakness here. This could all change if high volume rejects the attempt to move up and brings it down. And we would not be expecting it to trend up if that was the case there. At least not yet. Okay, helpful so far. So that applies to anything versus the yen. Anything. These versus the yen. No major news for yen in the next 10 days. All right, maybe we get an uptrend for 10 days. Right. We're going to get into talking about FTX and crypto because there is some insight to be gained. So much cleaner background. Again, the last few weeks, I was really focused on the U.S. dollar. That's where the clean action was. That's where, the good stuff was. Again, very simple. Mix of buying and selling to our left. Let's let it figure itself out. And I'm going to focus on looking to buy today against the yen. So that's and again, you can mark that accumulation stuff on anything versus the yen. You can mark the high, right? And making sure if you're coming out of there, you're not seeing weakness, and then you expect an uptrend. If you are, it's probably going to come back down, right? And of course, with these anything versus the yen, looking to buy off strength on down moves, right? Which, if you look to the left, is all good. Again, yesterday I didn't even open the chart, but you see that stuff there. If you know basic VSA, if you know my method, if you have my course, right? You should all know that. By the way, I very much appreciate a lot of people buying the course, and if you need any help, well, I help anybody, but particularly if you bought my course and you need any help, let me know. I will definitely help you and get you there. So it's a yen buying party probably today. Buying against the yen. No, don't buy the yen. Buy against the yen because it's weak. So that's the trade of the day I'll be looking for. Again, that could set up later US, right? But there's your sort of background Wyckoff VSA stuff. Now you know what the heck's going on. This is the story in the market. This is the story. It's not my story. It's not one of the stories. It is what's happening. Very welcome. I'm just noticing on the dollar pairs, right? We already talked about in the background how the buying and selling is close together yesterday. Here's the pound, for example, versus the dollar. It really doesn't matter, right? And then look at today. We immediately start off with the same thing. Now, this is London Open and stuff, but look at the pattern, right? The activity in the lower prices, buying. The activity in the higher prices, selling. And what happens after? You get stuck in the middle. We could have broken out to the upside and not seen any more weakness. That would have been, okay, more bullish at least. But you see, again, even today, I'm just looking at it now, again, doing the same behavior, right? This pop in volume here, lower price, strength, buying. And of course, again, the selling. So these dollar pairs, I wouldn't touch them right now, right? Makes sense? Not even for a scalp. What are you going to do? Buy off strength? You're going to hit weakness, sell off weakness? You never know where the buyers may show up. It's all jumbled up and close together. There's sort of a mismatch among how smart money is positioning. If in the near future, in the recent past, there's a mismatch. Let them figure it out, right? It's their mess. But we want an imbalance. We don't want high volume buying and selling. We want one high volume and one low. Right? And it's predictable after that. So, yeah, right now I really don't even want to look at the dollar pairs, just like I wasn't looking at the yen pairs when they were messy. So, let's see if we come down today and look for a buy against the yen. That's really what I'd like to be doing. If you notice today, now they looked at the background, let's look at today, right? These higher prices are just getting accepted pretty well. Lower prices, you're seeing the activity, the buying. Pretty aggressive here. And it looks like they want to go for the markup, right? Buying, that should be green. Volume, the buying here. Not much as far as weakness, right? Give me 1 second. All right. Welcome. If you're just joining, I just gave analysis. So if you're able to go back on the live stream, I don't know if you can. But that first half hour has really the overall analysis. So again, from here, I'd be looking to buy against the yens today. And even scalping while I'm waiting for that to possibly set up, probably later. I want to avoid the dollar pairs. And unless we see something change. But the activity we're seeing so far today suggests they really want to go for the markup here. Go into the uptrend against the yen. Because we're pretty high up. And we're seeing more demand than supply. What's the London 1 hour trade looking like today, right? Well, against the dollar, no thanks. But something I showed a few weeks ago, I was looking at the London Open first hour range. Mark the low to high, which is London Open is here. So we have the low so far of London. And the high is there. So, yeah, and to mention that again, we took a bunch of test trades on a method that was pretty promising. And we kind of just standalone tested it without any analysis involved. Basically, including the background analysis with it, like for example today saying I don't want to take it on the dollar pairs, right? Pound versus dollar. It's a pound trade, right? I want to avoid the dollar pairs. I'll avoid that. this guy again, right? You know what I'm going to say. If you know, you know. What might I want to do if this London hour, right, trade shows up? That, right? Because it goes with the background. Right. And again, if you're not familiar with the trade setup, simply put, once you have this first hour of London low to high marked, we're looking for a break of those levels or a fake break with volume supporting the fake break. So here we could have that, right? And that lines up with the background. That would just be pretty high probability right there to look to get in long. But I think that's kind of the, if you've been following a couple weeks ago when I did those test trades, right, live, and some of them were amazing entries, right? 100 pips, no drawdown, right? Some of them were really good. And, right, this would be an entry that lines up with everything. And it would be something that I normally would even look to take anyway, right? So when it matches the situation and we can work it in with the analysis and it's lining up, looking to buy there. It's Carbon. Welcome. I've known you for like 2 or 3 years now, and this is the first time you've actually attended. Well, you're usually asleep, that's why. Yes. All right. So I like the idea of looking to buy again off strength, and if it lines up with that London Open trade, the London hour trade, I guess I'm calling it, looking to trade after that first hour, well, then that'll be nice. The first hour has passed already, but we're still in the range, so we didn't actually have an entry yet. So we'll see if that comes around. Yeah, it's pretty clean on that pound. Yeah, that would be nice. Looking to buy here. Let's see if we can get that. That's not too much to ask for. Can we get that? Because there are stops down here, right? And they probably want to grab that. Let's see where we hit the fib on that. One more little stop hunt right through here. That's the way things are often done, right? Looking to buy there. So again, if it's so bullish, why don't I just go long, right? Because I'm a step behind from where they position from lower, right? And if you look at this strength here, that's not actually strength, and that's the London Open volume spike. So we don't really have anything yet. This would be so perfect. And I really hope they don't wait for a U.S. session to do this. So, again, if we come down here, right, what we're looking for is to align with the fresh positions of smart money buying against the yen. This is an area and a pattern that they very often use, right? Jumping lower, people start selling, people that bought start to freak out and sell. I'll buy that from you, thank you. Right? And then if there's lack of supply, which there likely will be, then off we go. And even if we fail to break again, right? That's still 75 pips. On a failed markup attempt, you'd be up 75 pips. So, and it's a nice risk reward, putting the stop around there, right? Entry around here, stop around here. I'm not the only one thinking this, you know what I'm saying? So that's the pound, which could line up with the pound 1 hour trade. If you want to know what I'm talking about with the pound 1 hour trade, I have a video on that. It's clearly labeled with a thumbnail, so you could check that out. Again, euro. Now it could go for it. At any point, this stuff could just go as far as marking up. And if there's not weakness, I'll look to get in that. But, they don't seem to be in a rush just yet. They're certainly buying at the down moves. Again, that same sort of pattern could be here. Right, looking to buy there on the EJ. We were looking at the pound. So let's see if we can come down and where, how much smart money starts buying if they do. So we mark these levels that they tend to buy at that are very important to them. Let's see if they show up, and we'll take it from there. But you can kind of figure out, right, that if we come down and you're just not seeing buying through here, you're not seeing buying through here, it's going lower, it's lower, this setup is probably going to set up for U.S. session, right? If we're not seeing the urgency in buying and strength up here, and it's just coming down, they'll get people short, and they'll hunt some more stops on people that bought. A carbon short means sell. I remember when I first learned the word short, I thought maybe that you're supposed to be in sell positions for only a short period of time. It was like 2003. That wasn't last week. Okay, so a little more information came in on the dollar pairs. If it cleans up, I will trade it. I will scalp it, right? We got some information here. What does that say? Somebody tell me. Because again, we've been seeing buying and selling close together, right? But now we see that. What is that? Might be a long entry. Lack of selling. They didn't show up. Exactly. Not no demand. Stop that. This isn't a bad, actually a long scalp is not bad here. That is likely to try to break, right? To see high prices on average low volume. That is likely to break to the upside very soon. Let's see if this candle closes a bit strong. It's about to close and it's not getting squashed. It's starting to pull away from the 14 EMA. Higher highs, higher lows, right? We're going with the short-term structure and momentum, and we're not seeing, well, that's a nice close. That is not a bad scalp right there at all. Long scalp there. Am I calling trades today? Can I just give you a real-time analysis and you can decide what you want to do? Oh, okay, fib. So that's very likely to move up from there. If as a little scalp. How's the US dollar looking? Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that if it breaks past the 618 overshoot, then it's going back into the weeds. And that's like a 15 pip stop at that point. Now, hopefully this isn't just the market being quiet right now. As far as, low volume here, saying there's not selling coming in. Hopefully it's not just going to go sideways and be, low activity market that's doing nothing. Let's see the 1 minute up there as well. Any spike in weakness? No, there is not. So it's just a probability that's built into the situation that it's likely to attempt to break this high next before, say, coming back to this low, swing low or something. Now, normally at the 14 EMA, you don't really worry about seeing strength, but once we pop into here, we would want to see some volume and rejection if that ends up happening. Plus, this is very green and Christmassy, so. What's up, guys? Funny, the 14 is getting used as support. It is funny. I've been using it for 15 years. I noticed that. Yeah, Troy, some people like the 20. It's going to be very similar, the 20, the 14, Somebody was using the 15 I saw the other day. Those are all like that first. Like if you have a strong trend, of course you might overshoot it a little bit, but that's where the pullback gets tested. That's where like whoever sold here is going to stop and see what's going on with buyers. Pause and test. But the volume doesn't have to spike up and show demand. If we get into here, then we really would want to see that. Otherwise, you get out, and it's 10, 15 pip stop. That's it. Going for the high. You got your 10 pips here and extension if it wants to go. I mean, the dollar pairs are a sloppy mess, but having said that, you take that into account. But it's likely going to try to break that high. Let me bring up that silly thing that I use. $23 people watching and only 5 thumbs up. Let's hit those. Thank you, Troy. Because, YouTube hates me. And my channel grows very slowly. We've had 77 views. They come and go. Maybe because there's no face cam, right? That's the key. Where'd my chat go? That's the key. You want to freaking stare at my face while I stare at a screen. That's what we're missing. No thanks. But yeah, if you hit like and all that, then I think YouTube will like me a little better. Right? Isn't that how it works? Yeah. You know why they hate me, Carbon. The things I say. Yeah, there goes the Eurodollar scalp. It's the things I say. When the shit goes down one day on this planet, I'm going to be on the list of people that are going to be a problem. Anyway, how's that going? Eurodollar. See if we can pop right into here, and there is your very first scalp target for that entry. If you just pop in there, and you start to see what's going on. U.S. dollar index, it wants to break support. It really probably does. Any weakness coming on? Oh, there is a little bit. Okay, there is a little bit. You see that on the 1 minute? So if it closes down as a result, it's actually confirming weakness. There's a little bit of selling on that guy. I'm moving my stop to break even. All right, my stop is at break even on the euro dollar. If you know my scalp method, that is pretty textbook. And there you go. I pointed it out at the time right here. And I moved my stop to break even a little early because of this volume, right? The market got a little more active into higher prices. And if it stops the progress and comes down as a result, we found some sellers. So I wouldn't want to hold on to a scalp against that. So, yeah, maybe if it comes down as a result, I'll get out break even, right? Normally, this higher volume is going to show up into here. So I'll see if I can hang on. If not, right, I managed it based on what I'm seeing. Because if you look, it's a 1 minute chart, but it's there. It's the highest volume in what, an hour, right? On the 1 minute chart. So we don't want that to be selling turning against the scalp. Mark is saying sell euro as I'm up enough money to stop at break even. Well, let's see. Maybe my break even gets hit here. There's a reason why I did that. My energy was 16 and change, which I pointed out at the time. Right there. But if there's not selling here in large amounts, it's not likely to happen. But I'm listening to the chart, that 1 minute spike. You know, we're talking about scalping here. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind a larger group. Oh, here we go. A larger group here. I mean, okay, how about this? That's all I ask for. If you're finding this helpful, is to help it spread. Here's our first little scalp win going on. I'm waiting for the box. Maybe I'm not. Yeah, there it is. All right, I'm selling half. I mean, I'm not here to call trades at the moment. I did point that out, and I'll just let you know what I'm doing. But there is scalp target hit. I closed half the trade, and right. So if I see large weakness here, I could just close the whole thing. If we flow it on through and don't see selling, and we see some. Yeah, let's see what it's doing. The indicator is the super deluxe trend. Make money while you sleep. Did I say super deluxe? Super deluxe. Analyzer 3000. Right here. And I sell it as a subscription for $1,000 a week. It's make money while you sleep, but you have to be asleep for it to work. Okay, so yeah, it's just a MACD. CM MACD color MTF wave trend cross plunger men. Okay, and it has absolutely nothing to do with anything. We're getting in the Christmas spirit, you know. It's a trap to make people ask so I can tell them not to use indicators. I gotcha. Great, he's going to buy it. Oh, no, I was serious, right? So it's $1,000 a week. Okay. Oh, okay, I'm out of the rest of that trade. I could have closed the whole thing at the scalp target, but normally if you don't see weakness the first time, you're going to break through it. So kind of split the difference to close some and stop to break even for more. And we didn't really see, besides that little spike, which didn't end up being a problem, we didn't really see weakness, but okay, that's fine. If markets are coming down, you know where we're going. It's not coming down over here. All right, we'll see. We'll see. So again, if you're just joining, the main story in the market is the yen is very weak right now. The most obvious trade is to be buying it against it today. But meanwhile, scalping can occur. We just had a little one there. So I made a little on that trade, as Mark was saying. I'm not being an ass. I'm just playing with you, Mark. That you're only selling the euro dollar. See, I have to ignore. Like if I seem like I'm ignoring you, I have to. You know what I'm saying? I know you're not a noob, and I'm looking to buy something, and then you're typing, "I wouldn't buy that today." I'm only saying. I just kind of gotta hide the chat out of the way and ignore it. But maybe you're right, and the weakness will show up higher. But we're probably talking about two different things, because a scalp is a very, very quick little thing. You change your scalping strategy, go for bigger targets. Okay. You've probably seen me talk about this already, Mark, which is, in this situation right here, it's just very highly likely to get to there. What happens after that is not as highly likely. So you have your scalp. And there's really not much volume. It might break to the upside, but I wasn't going to let that turn into a loss or anything. Less work. Yeah. I didn't mind that work. That was okay. But I get what you're saying. You do get burnt out. You can get burnt out. And sometimes, yeah, it is good to, when you're confident in a trade and the setup is right, sometimes it absolutely makes sense to walk away, set your stop and your target, especially if your stop is at break even. But generally, yeah, not to get freaked out by everything going on in chop and noise. Yeah, if it's especially like this stuff we're talking about today, buying against the yen, that's the kind of stuff where, yeah, for me, if I get in long against the yen, I know, once I know the reasonable target areas, it's not something I'm going to stare at and freak out over every little thing on the 1 minute chart, Yeah. Humans need sunlight. They're all trading and playing Call of Duty. One or the other. Not good to have prolonged periods outside of the circadian. Oh, I've been off for man, I haven't had a regular sleep schedule in years. That's okay. I like it. So, what's next? Besides the bigger picture looking to buy against the yen, which we'll see if that comes around. That was a little predictable thing. Now, if this is breaking to the upside, Maybe you're still in it. Maybe if you have my scalp course, you know my scalp. That's the entry. Maybe you're still in it, but this is key here. New high ground. So if there is not weakness coming in, I can look for the next one. I can do it again. The lower the volume, the better. Like, see this high here, nice low, medium volume, right? So I'm buying again here. If we have that, we have a bit here. So higher prices on low, medium volume, I can buy on the next one as well if it behaves right, which it definitely did here. So there's that. This was, again, a lot of times this stuff sets up later in the day, so we may get down there later. If the yen pairs just want to go into markup, ooh, I think we have the entry on the, technically? No, do I want to touch the dollar? No. Okay, yeah, we have a long entry based on the pound. You know, I could put a small position on it. The London 1 hour trade again on the pound. Again, I do have a video showing that. We tested it a couple weeks ago. Do I want to trade this setup on my real account at this point? Yeah, I don't know. But that requires waiting for this to close in a couple minutes. But right here's the low to high of the first hour of London. Here's a breakout. The lower the volume, the more likely it is to continue and be a real breakout. I'm focusing on the pound yen over the pound dollar, even though they're both likely to correlate because of that weak yen. Well, it looks like it wants to pop. If it closes, at or near the high, the lower the volume, the better. Then that's a confirmation on that method, which didn't have the highest win rate as a standalone. In this case, it does match the background, and that might give it the edge. Maybe I'll go small. But again, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's the thumbnail on the video says London hour trade. So that's what this would be here. Yeah, that's technically a confirmation. That kind of feels chasey, but we've seen what these things can do. Not weakness coming in there. Yeah. Yeah, that is likely to get to the high. Just the fact that it's going into new high ground that we haven't seen in the London session yet. And the volume is low, average, right? Let's see the 1 minute. So it is likely now. Oops, wrong thingy. Likely to get there. Try to break, try to mark up. Yep, yep, yep. It's markup style now, right? You see it as we're moving up, and you see the bars closing at or near their highs on regular volume. What does that tell you as a matter of fact? That the higher prices are not attracting selling. And that's why it's moving up so well. It's lack of supply. It's not a ton of demand, right? Volume's quiet. Market's kind of quiet volume wise. It's a higher prices. So it's this aggressive move up is not so much because the buying is so aggressive. It's because there is some real lack of supply here. So it doesn't take that much activity to move it. Right? No, I'd rather be looking at the yens, I guess. But it's a pound-driven situation where they're both doing that. One minute, any spikes, any weakness? Not so much, not too bad. It could do a break test of that level. But it's not likely to be a failed breakout that comes back below. Could test a 14 EMA, right? Break test. But that yen weakness, right? Looks like it may be starting to play out. If so, everything's going to move up against the yen. Okay, the yen itself is actually kind of flat, the yen index. So maybe it's just more attributed to some buying on the other currencies. But it does match the background. Well, if this guy, yen index, starts to come down, the pound yen should really start flying. So, and again, you see the weakness from this perspective. Mark is writing a book. Dear readers, even worse for you to trade U.S. session, or especially if you have to. Oh, you're talking to Troy. My bad. Okay. Yeah. So the entry there, it did end up giving a little more. And still, we're not seeing much weakness, right? Still. So, this is possible as well, again. Bit of increase in activity? Nah, not even. Break test, or yeah, more likely 14 EMA test, right there. Yeah. So the up move on the pound, right, is real as far as, right, it's not a trap move. It's not, basically the up move is not seeing sellers. And after having such a quick move like that, if you did have sell activity, it could just reverse, right? Just turn on you. It's not at all. If you look at the background stuff, right? What a great move. Nope. High volume. And it reversed. So that is a real deal move. Now, once we get up to the high of the session again, or high of the day, which is very likely here soon. We'll find out about weakness, right? We'll find out if there is selling there. And guess what? If there isn't, it's just the beginning of the markup. Yeah, man. Of course, it's likely to zigzag its way up, and you want to make sure there's no weakness. But that becomes the projection if we can get above this level here without weakness, right? We'll basically end up somewhere. Just obviously testing the next big level fairly soon. Nice, nice. Nice. The index. Yes, exactly, Mark. The yen is so weak, and it hasn't played out yet. They've only pre-positioned. I think it's playing out now. Or today, obviously, at some point. This is also just buying on the pound. Do you trade full-time or do you have a job? Well, full-time. Like 8 hours a week. So, yeah. 8 hours a week is full-time trading. No, I don't have like any steady other job. I just do some recording sessions now and then, this and that. No. This is what I do. Wow. Nice. Ooh, a little bit of weakness. I need to stop checking the 1 minute chart, right? No, actually, that's very important because that's the potential markup area. What am I looking at here? I put a little something on these. Again, I'm not trying to make trade calls today, but yeah. Ugh. And that all that up move just occurred, and the yen didn't even drop yet. Once this starts coming down, right? If that could happen now, the pound yen. If this drops now, right? Pound yen is like gonna shoot up in a straight line. And that's just the beginning of going into markup. It might want to do it now. I think we're done with accumulation. Well, we'll find out, right? I did put a little something on the pound yen, but I am not willing to put myself in a position, right, where I'm just talking out loud logically here. I took a small risk because it's the London hour setup. Right? This is trying to get into markup, And I don't think it's wise to bet on either the markup happens now or I take a loss, right? That's demanding too much from the market. You know, we already started off talking about buying into here, right? Buying on the attempts to move up. That hasn't worked out very well, right? That's not where you want to buy on accumulation. But if you find yourself long right now, you might want to consider that it might fail. So that's important to see. The less volume, the better. So far, we're looking at this. Look at that. All we need is that to come down. Oh, my God. No, it didn't come down yet. Oh, my God. Noise. Like I said, this is not a fake move. It doesn't mean it's going to keep going in a straight line, but there is very little selling to stop this anytime soon. And look, it's the London hour trade, ladies and gentlemen. I have a video on this setup. And now taking that, you know what I did, if you want to know. I'll be honest with you. I accidentally bought the pound dollar, and I meant to buy the pound yen. So I straightened it out and bought the pound yen and got my risk in check, but I still have a little of the pound dollar as well, just so you know. Okay. But that's the London 1 hour trade. And I say that because really the buying against that weak yen, right, made more sense. We already know. Yeah, there's not supply showing up on the U, right? We saw that earlier, moving up against the U.S. dollar. But we don't exactly have a bullish background, so great on the dollar pairs. This one, yeah. So this is a moment of truth, maybe. If the yen pairs are going into markup or not. Yeah, the pound is ahead of the others, but they're about to try to, it looks like, right? They're about to try. But yeah, the London hour trade setup, right? It solves the problem that I used to have. I'm really starting to like it now. I used to have, which is, okay, we know the background is bullish, right? Against the yens. What if we don't get down moves in strength? What if we just start to move and we're just in a trading setup-wise, not in a great spot to get in long because of whatever. We're buying right into the high of the day or, right? Not normally a spot. It can give you that entry, and you don't sit here saying, well, the background is strong and the chart's flying up and I couldn't find a way in. I mean, this didn't even give a scalp entry yet or anything. And it's moved 40 pips, right, off of the entry. Interesting. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my accidental pound dollar long. I thought I was on the pound yen. All right, I closed my accidental pound dollar long. Oh, happy accident to say the least. Okay. Anyway, pound yen. Let's see. How far am I from my stop on the pound yen? Again, the hairy part of this is that, and again, I suggest you look at my video, the London hour trade from a few weeks ago, to understand what this trade is here. And then taking that setup and saying, does it match the background? Does it make sense now? Not just being a self-contained trade setup. In this case, yeah. Talking about buying against the yen for the last hour and a half. So it all kind of lines up. But this is where it gets hairy, right? You have a high, right? You have your strength. You have a high created, failed to break it. You have a high created, failed to break it. It did try, right? See? So you have a high created. Is it going to fail again? Right? It doesn't have to go into markup till it's ready, right? So considering that, Oh, but there's just no weakness. It's good, right? Let's think about what I want to do with it. Thinking about what I want to do. I could even close a third and put my stop at break even. Well, my stop's already at break even. But you get the point of what I'm saying there is that the markups will fail and fail until they're ready. And that's why normally you're looking to buy off strength in accumulation, not chase the accumulation into markup hoping that it works out. And if you're not sure what I mean by that, you look at the Wyckoff phases, right? But I think that's logical. So for me, that's a situation where it's good to put your stop at break even, maybe even close some since it was up, whatever, from the London hour entry. Why did I say 40 pips? It's not 40 pips. The entry is 12. Okay, added 12 instead of subtracting. Yeah, that would make sense. It's not 40 pips. It's 20. But historically, usually these things, as far as getting out of the range, the bigger range, and going into markup, usually happens later in the day. But also considering we're not seeing much weakness. New high ground. Look at that lack of volume. It's our new situation here. Nothing. Yeah. See, this is coming down really not because of any huge weakness. Just not ready to go into markup. If it ends up being a fake break. But again, I pointed out the last few fake breakouts that happened here. So, warning, warning, warning. I showed you. Volume says it's going to break, and soon, to the upside. Which is kind of important. Volume says it's going to do it. Hidden upthrust. I can make a dirty joke, and I won't. Fake move thin. Mark, everything. I swear, everything I say, you're telling me the opposite today. You want to have a competition? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Meanwhile, I made a little money ignoring you, so I'm just going to have to keep doing that. I appreciate you. Higher time frames, yeah, it's two completely different things, right? Yeah, volume says this is likely to break to the upside. You know what this is? I'll bet you what this is right now. I could be wrong. This is how I interpret it, right? Who sells into here and here? Who sells into this stuff, right? Smart money selling high, buying low, right? The activity didn't occur. Didn't happen, right? Who sells here? As we got a little more volume on that. Who sells here? Eddie. Eddie sells there. Eddie, the retail trader. He doesn't know it yet. But he's going to have yet another bad day, I think. Where we might go, let's see. Where would a seller put their stop loss? That's huge. We're looking at the pound yen. Yeah, all through here, whatever, right? I do want to check fib, like what are we looking at right here? It's likely to break, even if it looks like it's not right now. Right now I'm flat. So I closed some of that pound yen. I closed the accidental pound dollar. Happy accident. I meant to buy the pound yen. Luckily, it ended in profit because it was pound driven, right? They were all moving together. And then, yeah, having stop at break even on that entry, right? That just got hit. So I have no trade on at the moment. This looks very bullish, though. If we're coming down, right, we could get, again, not my favorite thing, buying, hoping for a markup to start. And again, you see why, right? And I keep pointing out these failed attempts. But that's where we are right now, right? Working with it. Very big line. Working with what we got, right? You know, not seeing weakness makes me a little less worried about buying up here. But that now becomes the projection. So we have our higher high, higher low structure. We have lack of any weakness coming in. As important areas as is, right? We're still not seeing weakness. These are probably a lot of traders going short that are going to be up Schitt's Creek. Can we go down to Schitt's Creek? Yeah, go fishing. We'll see. But that's very unlikely to be the high of the day right there. Extremely unlikely. So, but I don't have anything on at the moment. Let's see the next opportunities. Oh, remember this guy? So far, so good. And the 14 EMA, exactly how I drew it. All right. Weakness? No. Dollar index. Break test as well. Okay, market is forecasting this right now. I especially like to see the rejection here, as I pointed out at this point, is really, by this point, is the entry. So let's see if we get that sort of pattern again. If it goes down a little further, maybe we want a little strength in a fib area. Oh, we are in a fib area. 618 overshoot, whatever. Chart says the pound that's looking like it's a short setup Not for us. To Eddie, it's a total fake short setup right here. It's a total fake. That's just factual, unless something changes, right? What short setup am I talking about? The obvious, right? That I would not get in a million years right now, right? Ooh, look at that risk reward. Ooh, what a good trade setup. Probably not. Probably not. Feel free. You might as well change your name to Eddie if you're going to get short. Well, that's what the chart is saying, not me. I'm just reporting the facts. Or at least in the high probability. Look at 1 hour euro dollar. Do I have to? I don't like the dollar. Man, what are you saying? I got 3 wins. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll just go to bed. No. Look at, they're small. Look at 1 hour. I need you. Okay, might change. Okay, VSA. Eddie is long. Okay. I've looked at it. The way I'm seeing it is that we don't have a good imbalance. Okay, let's see if this might set up. Once again, it's that scalp type of entry, right? But I don't like that it's right at the high, like I mentioned a million times. But that's what we're working with now. Let's see how clean it might set up. Yeah, I just see what I see. I can't really be convinced of anything. Because if I listen to other people, they don't pay me back if I lose. I mean, I could take time and dwell on the U.S. dollar pairs, but it's just like in the last couple of weeks where I was ignoring the yen pair. Check. Oh, thanks for telling me. Wow, I changed and it's still. Wow, that's weird. Okay. Okay. Sound should be fine. Thanks for telling. Yeah, if there's no sound, tell me right away. So thank you. Okay. Maybe it's not the cable. Maybe it's the mic. Anyway. So this is the next move, likely, as far as the information we have at this time. That the dollar index is going to have another pop down. No, I already drew it. Yeah. Now, if we get back into here, right, and things get a little choppy and messy pattern-wise, then okay, no deal. Again, if you know my scalps, right, the scalp course, if you know the setups, be looking for confirmation here. Certainly has not happened yet. And again, it's not some special secret. It's reacting to the 14 EMA. This is a very clean reaction. A lot of times you get morning star, evening star candle patterns. I'm not a pattern guy. It's like the only one I know. I don't care about the patterns that much, but a lot of times you get the wide spread, a small one, right, and then a wider spread to move out, and you have that small one in the middle. This is more or less that. I mean, if you take away this candle, right, it's pretty much that. And this one did pop up, right, and start to move away. And that one said, yeah, we're doing it. So again here, right, the long one, right, the short one. And then if this pops up and closes like here, right, then you have this pattern. Now I'm like worried about my sound. Okay. We'll see if that behaves again. Where did I just put the chat window? Okay. Is there a big difference between your scalp course and your real estate course? Yes, a huge difference. Huge difference. Hence the price difference. Okay, thanks, Mark. Yeah, so the scalp course is this stuff that I'm showing here, which is really like, you know, honing in on a 5-minute and maybe even checking the 1-minute chart, right, and looking for these imbalance. Basically, really simple. There is also a low volume breakout scalp as well as these pullback type entries. There, look at that. For example, like when this broke out here on low volume, right? The lower the better, the higher the worse. So that's pretty good. It's likely to be a real breakout. Again, that's a scalp that moved 12 pips. So you have that kind of thing shown in the course, and then you have these, right? And the details and management and stuff. And then the other VSA, if you want to call it VSA. I mean, obviously there's elements of VSA. Trade Guider doesn't own the volume indicator. I do. Just kidding. But the main course, my main course is my entire life's work. My actual main, the thing that tells me I'm looking to buy against the yen today, the bullseye trade. Like the thing that tells you what is going on in the market right now. What is the story? Where is big money positioned from? What are they doing? And all that. And that's 13 hours long. Something like that, right? But I'm not pushing courses. You asked. What I always say to people, I'll say again, YouTube videos are free. It's not like a secretive thing or anything, what's in my course. It's just more organized, and obviously it covers every little detail in an organized way from beginning to end. Nothing left out, and it's all there. But it's technically, right, I do live streams and stuff, so you can also just watch my YouTube videos. Those are free. Free. But like I say, if you want it in an organized way, like I will pick one topic and talk about it for, 45 minutes before I move on to the next and so on. So I really tried to get everything in there. That is likely moving up. Man, I hate chasing moves late. I could put a little something on this scalp. It almost seems too easy. Almost seems too easy. Oh, what's going on here? Mm-hmm. 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 Yep, yep, yep. Yes. Oh, you have the main course, Troy. Okay. If you want the scalp course, I'll give you a deal. Half off. Email me if you have the main course. It's only like $60, right? I'll give you, give you the early Black Friday deal. So again, so says the chart. We are not seeing the high of the day just yet at all by any means. And price is moving up, not because there's so much crazy aggressive buying right now, but they have positioned long to the left, especially, of course, against the yen. But we've also caught on to the lack of supply going on here against the US dollar, right? We saw it here. And then again here, pretty good. So pretty extreme on the lack of selling. How do you 56? Are you in another country? Come on, what? Trying to be nice. All right, pay the 60. How do your position sizes vary from scalps to normal method? Rescuing fiber. Yeah, reverse versus 1%. Okay. As far as risk, that's something we talked about when I was showing my side account where I was like really trying to stick to proper risk. and it was a small account, so it ended up being kind of small positions. But I wanted to set a good example. I'm basically looking at 1% or just less. On a, like max, I don't like hitting 2% or going near 2%, 1.5%. But as far as like your particular question is there a difference between the two, the scalp entry and the VSA entry? Risk-wise, no. The scalps have larger positions because smaller stops, right? But the risk percentage is basically the same. But, if we're talking about later today buying, this is probably not going to happen now, but, on a retracement and looking to buy low like we were, a lot of times that stuff ends up being like 30 pip stops, 35 pip stop it could be. But the target is way beyond that. And, let's say your accumulation just beginning the uptrend likely today, right, and all that. So the risk reward is still good, but of course. But the pip count is going to be, larger than a scalp. So it's similar risk. I keep myself in that 1% give or take, but certainly different pip count, so you adjust your position size accordingly. I feel like once you start pushing over 2%, if you take 2 full losses in a row, which I really try to avoid, if something's looking bad, I try to manage the trade and not let my full position hit the stop loss. Because I'll just listen to the chart. The chart says the trade's looking bad. I'll start to slim it down or whatever. But if you take a 2% loss, two in a row, you're down 4%, and then you're kind of going down a downward spiral. You're going to try to make that money back using less money, and then your position size shrink and shrink and shrink, and you need more pips just to get back what you lost, if you know what I mean, when it comes to risk. It looks like the market does want to do what it's saying it wants to do here, right? That yen will very likely drop. Again, those kind of moves normally happen later in the day. And that's just going to have the pound yen will go insane to the upside if this thing starts coming down. It's already been able to do this just because of pound strength. Imagine the currency that it's moving up against starts to tank, which is very likely today. Yeah. So the scalp strategy, can't talk, followed by properly has a high enough win rate with management that can still keep 1% risk. Cool. Yes, very welcome. Sometimes this time of day right now, or as coming up soon, things kind of get quiet and it can go sideways for a little while. Sometimes you start London open with a bang, right? And maybe even get the London hour trade, as I call it. But and then sometimes it slows down, and then you get that, the main setup of the day kind of thing happen. But again, there's a likelihood based on how things work that on this news, right, it's going to be the start of everything moving up against the yen. 8:30 New York time. Historically, right, that's normally when those types of setups occur. And maybe against the US dollar too, if that wants to clean up. But it has cleaned up already because we already knew there was some weakness and strength, right? The mixed environment. And now at least we've been able to trend up and not hit weakness. This is a whole other, right, situation. If you hit this, you could get the weakness there. But it's likely to get there. That much we know. Unless you see high volume weakness sooner. %2 is super aggressive, yeah. 1% is like the magic number. Something about 1% that you're just not going to do damage. Unless you're completely undisciplined and you take 5 losing trades in a day and you're down 5%. But, if you trade right, 1% is the magic number that you would just have to be totally breaking your rules and taking shitty trades or who knows what to maintain 1% risk and really do any damage to your account. You'd have to just be high on something, right? My email, here it is. Yeah, I will make that offer for anybody today. If you bought my main course and you want the scalp course, I'll give you half off the price that's there. Just email me. Here's my email. I'm not here to sell courses. Okay, back to the charts. This fucking guy on YouTube is making a course. I always have to say after I mention my courses. But it's all on YouTube for free. The courses are just more organized and detailed. Okay. I'll help you out for free too. Whatever. Chart says everything's going to go where I have projected here. It might just be getting a little quiet and slow. I did put a little something on the euro dollar long scalp, and I might close it actually. Because if you notice when these setups play out, I'm around break even right here, down 1 pip now. When these setups play out, they're quick. Right, so here's the last entry. Right? 6, 7 minutes later, whatever it was, right? This one's a little sloppy, but right, once it pulls away and gives you this, right? You go on your way, you get to the top. And they're pretty widespread and they don't take too long. You know what I'm saying? Look at these. And it's not an issue with weakness or anything, but the market is very low volume and going nowhere. And if we're talking about a scalp, it's supposed to be, ideally you're out in 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, right? Maybe I'll close it. I can put my stop right here. That would be minus 3 pips. I'm just thinking out loud, right? So that's a little piece of information about how I handle scalps. As you see, they're typically quick. That's why I do this and call it a scalp. Once it sets up, you get to that high fast. I'm not getting into a scalp and sitting in it for an hour or two. You know what I'm saying? That means it didn't happen, and now you're just kind of going with the wind. It's still very bullish, but you know, if there's not enough buying to push this up, maybe you come down and you do a fake break and you get strength. Maybe you do a fib retracement, right? It's still bullish, but right, they're not marking up very, very aggressively. So in this case, like I kind of want to, you know, give it the chance. I could close it here with tiny profit, whatever. But that's the cool thing about these scalps. You're not sitting in it forever. If it's not working out, it's not behaving like a scalp, you know, whatever. Yeah. Maybe I'll just go with a 5-pip stop. For the moment, that's what I did. So my stop is right here. So it has to break the low of this, and I'll get out. The low of this, and I'll just get out. That's well below the 14 EMA, right? A couple candles later, even if it takes some time. You know, obviously going from here to here fairly quickly is just not happening. You know, if you get out for minus 5 pips on a scalp loss, that is not something you're going to really worry about. You'll still sleep good. Can you just use your main account and move the market, Pete? Cryptos? Yeah. This market? No. Sorry. Some of the smaller cryptos? Hell yeah, let's get in on that, man. Let's do a pump and dump, everybody. One of the greatest cryptos, pump and dump. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. I already told you, though. OXT. Yeah, we got to get into FTX. Oh, it's negative energy, man. I'm feeling good. Sam, piece of crap guy. He's a front man. He had nothing to do with anything. He might be on the spectrum. You know, I swear they're having problems finding people. You know what I'm talking about? This is why my channel doesn't grow. They're having problems finding people, is my theory at this point, with these jokers. Fetterman? All right, anyway. It's quality people. Yeah, I don't like this scalp anymore. All right, I'm closing it. I'm not even at minus 5. What am I at? I don't even care. I'm out. Oh, it dropped right now anyway. Well, there you go. That's how you deal with a scalp that's not working, right? Nope. No thanks. Got better things to do than sit in a scalp that looks like shit. There you go. Now, Eddie has a stop. Ooh, Eddie. Where's Eddie's stop? I'm on the stupid Eurodollar. Man, this background is such crap. Now let's get out of here. Pound. Yen pairs. So yeah, got out of the scalp for 5 pips rather than right now being down whatever that would be. 10? Going shit. Right, we knew it here. Who is Eddie? Okay, yes. The herd. The retail trader. The guy sitting, rolling up his sleeves. He watched a few YouTube videos for a couple of months. He's ready to go and risk some real money. He's got some hard lessons to learn, and we're going to teach him. Yeah, dumb money, gamblers, emotional traders, dumb pattern traders. Remember what I said? All right, I was pretty good on this moving up. I said it looks too easy. Remember I said that? That looks too easy. You're baiting me to buy now. All right, that didn't happen, but we're still alive. Okay, that's a good bit of movement. That was pretty predictable. I think now we're going to chill out and hunt some stops before we continue up. And that means we could be moving down for the good old buy against the yen trade today at some point. Which goes back to the original analysis before we started looking at scalps. And looking to buy on strength, right? And we'll see. Still very bullish. Still very bullish. Even with that mixed background on the dollar pairs, it's very bullish against the US dollar right now. So today's information hasn't been as sloppy. MACD traders. The Eddie traders. Thank God you're not one of them, yes. Should we do a meetup sometime? I have to be in Manhattan, right? Actually, I haven't been there in a while. I'm kind of over it. Plus, I was, 2020. I became a second-class citizen. I wasn't allowed to do anything. A little taste of China for me. Yeah, that's why my channel doesn't grow. All right, one day we'll hit the entertainment. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anything about crypto, of course, but can we apply the normal methods still just with awareness of extreme volatility? I am sure there is smart money in Bitcoin and okay, yes, good question. Again, I'm not trying to be a salesman. You bringing up the course. I popped into this guy's live stream. He's just fucking talking about his course all the time. The course teaches you how to read a chart and know all the maneuvers of smart money, how they operate, how they think, what they do, and you're able to get facts off any chart on anything. Yeah, that's correct, Troy. Sadly, nobody died, but sadly, friends, a few of them, didn't react very well. Yeah, nobody brings that up anymore. They were worried I was going to die. I said, no. Don't worry about me. So the point is, frankly speaking, I think you make more focus on scalping instead of taking long-term trades. That I should? What do you mean? Yeah. Yes, Troy. Yes. Anyway, to make my point simply, my main course is what it does is explain what the heck's going on. It gives you the ability to read a chart and understand the maneuvers of smart money and why they do it and why it makes perfect sense for them to do it and who's doing what and be able to track them and trade along with them kind of thing, right? So that applies to anything. If you're talking about cryptos, it's the same thing, but you have to take the approach that there are these tactics going on and apply it to crypto and however they do it there. And that might be a good segue to talk about the FTX situation right now. Oh my God. You know what's going to happen with this Sam guy? He's going to have a freaking show on CNBC next month. He's not going to jail. But yeah. What you can conclude, I think, from that, as far as, if I know truthful information about this, is that you're thinking about smart money, thinking about what hedge funds, rich guys, right? Oh, they're manipulating crypto. Oh, the rich guys, they whipsaw. They do whatever they want. These freaking rich dudes, they're taking everybody's position as they sell off frantically and down moves, and they buy it from them. All these rich guys. Guess what? It's the government. Oh, shit. This is why my YouTube channel doesn't grow. It's the government. Look up this Sam character. I forget his last name. I don't even want to know. It's FTX crap. It's the government. They rigging it. It's expensive what they do. Okay, I'll leave it at that, so I don't get completely shadow banned from everything. The government does all kinds of things we don't know about, and it's pretty expensive. They need a lot of money. The game of global domination and corruption it's a very expensive game if you want to win. So, yeah. The FTX situation. I mean, this is the part that I'm interested in. I don't know about the rest. I didn't have anything to do with them, and I never once in my life told anybody to buy these freaking things. These coins that the exchanges offer. I never in my life considered messing with those coins. The FTX coin itself, the tokens. Never once have I even talked about messing with any of that stuff. But yeah, what's interesting to me is, let's see if we get a stop hunt going on in a long setup, right? Maybe. What's interesting to me is that if that was going on in that way to fund things, again, if you look up this guy, he's very much in line with certain parties in power and their little laundering businesses. You know what I mean? I'm done. I'm getting banned off YouTube, guys. Just, if I disappear, I'm not suicidal. Is that what you're supposed to say? But yeah, I mean the quick version to understand what happened, right? So you set up two companies, and one company offers some digital piece of crap that's worth nothing, right? And then your other company buys it and inflates the value. But if you look up, oh God, it's so cringe. This dude Sam. I don't care about his last name. Sam the man, the front man. You know, we're not just here to, right? What was his shtick? We're not just here to make money. We're here to change the world, and I'm all about, donations to causes. It's all money laundering shit, and among other things. That's about all we'll get into. That's what's interesting to me is that's who's also involved in this game, very much so. I mean, we already know that, certain people can make certain policies that help them financially in their personal interests, right? The law is not very good on that, or at least not enforced, that you can be a policymaker and you can be a trader and you can make policies that are going to make your trades work. You're not even a trader. You're a policymaker that takes trades that are going to happen because of your policies, right? But it's even a step further, where this is just direct funding of total shit. I wouldn't say that just because FTX blew up that they're done. Oh, okay. Well, we caught him. The end. Now, we were saying over the last few weeks, hopefully you were here for this conversation, that cryptos are going to scare everybody out before they go up. Remember that? 16, 15, 14. Remember that conversation when we were sitting up here? Well, there you go. Look at the buying. Have I bought yet? I have not. I'm probably gonna. So that's what it took, right? It takes something. You think they didn't plan, all right, the jig is up just randomly right now? Oh, oops, we got caught. We didn't plan on that. Sure. It looks like the game now. We'll see if we can test here and maybe get buying again. Looks like the game now is to get every last, basic trader guy, hodl guy, people holding crypto to say, oh, it's dead. It's over. We already had this conversation before the drop, right? We already knew this. We wanted them to, they want everybody to say, we're done. We're done with crypto. It's over. And then they're going to miss the up move. And so says the chart. In 6 months, a year from now, whatever it is, it's going to be people regretting. And the story is, no, I didn't hodl. I thought crypto was dead. Oops. Troy, yeah. I took the red pill. And I'm on Coinbase only. I mean, if Coinbase goes down, then crypto's going down. I have not heard through fairly reliable sources, the best information I can get, any of this type of funny business going on with Coinbase. as an exchange. Well, they do normal exchange things. They have a reserve of crypto that they like to sell off sometimes, you know. That affects the market, right? But as much as, you know, possible, it seems to be on the up and up. Coinbase should be okay, yeah. That's why I say if Coinbase goes down, then crypto is done. This is not financial advice. This is educational purposes only. Yeah. Coinbase is probably the safest, yeah. But like they say in the disclaimer, right? You don't risk more than you're willing to lose. If my Coinbase account blows up, Coinbase goes out of business, cryptos are done, right? The whole deal. Yeah, life goes on. It's a tiny percentage of what I, you know, of my capital. And if you notice in my, are you going to mention the course again? No, but in my course, I spend more time probably talking about these things than, oh, the price goes up, you make money, yay, and you take profit here and you make money there. I'm talking about what happens when this shit happens, right? A lot of time. And plan for the worst. Have a plan. Plan for everything. So whatever. At this point, I've been trading crypto now a few years. I caught some nice stuff, and if my account blows up, I actually end up profitable. You know. Can you please check? Where am I? I missed a lot of the chat, but anyway, okay. Let me go back up. Where are we? Yeah, back to the charts. Let me do a quick update. Has anything happened here while I've been spacing out? Oh, yeah. Not much buying there. On a fake break, potential spot to buy. So we may go further and hunt some stops. But you can see the structure that gives us the good scalp entries is now gone. The higher highs, higher lows, simply put, or at least, you know, a nice wavy moves. And again, we knew here. We said, not looking right. Not looking right. We made a lower high, right? Technically a lower low. Not much buying on that. So now this is really like short term as far as scalping. Yeah, things are bullish, but we made a lower high. We've lost our momentum. Your stochastics is coming out of overbought. See what this guy says. Green. I don't know. Should we buy? All right. So at the moment, I would like to see the lower prices and the strength and not keep chasing this high, late, getting choppy sort of up moves. Buyers here, not so much. And what is that? Previous resistance turns support. I don't think it's a fib just yet, but let's draw it in. I could either draw it there from this low. I could draw it from this low. I could do both. Can't stop me. But we didn't see much buying here as far as getting long, getting with that background. So we may still go lower. Maybe we see it into here. Yeah, it looks like this. The stop hunt might be on. Why does that happen? Because those that are long, if they get stopped out, they're selling off, and smart money could buy that, and they could buy more for the move up. If there even is enough selling to get it down, if there's enough selling. I hit some buying here, finally, a bit. But it could be on the way down, because again, the market is really, there's a real lack of supply going on. If we come down, it's just going to be really on low volume, because smart money is just waiting. And then you'll likely hit a big spike in volume and then come up from there. That is not my plan. That is the plan. As of right now, the high probability. Come down and hit strength. Now, if we don't do that, right, and again, that comes back to the regular plan for today anyway, was to look to buy on strength. There's only so many alternatives. If we just move up and we don't see strength and we just keep going, lack of weakness, I'll find my way in again, right? And so on. If we come down and we don't see buyers, okay, maybe there's a sell scalp, but maybe the buyers are down at support on a fake break or whatever it may be. But it's all in the context of smart money being long right now. Again, particularly against the yen. That's nice and clean. What time is it? 2.5 hours already. That caffeine hit me good today. A few minute break. I'll be back in a few minutes. Yes, coffee drinkers unite. Actually, I wasn't going to, but yeah, I'm gonna. I'm here. I'm just doing something. I know you can't see anything. 2 minutes. We'll be back to the charts. Yeah, man. Coffee's almost done brewing. See, Troy, thank you. I recorded this song 15 years ago with this artist that I work with. Thank you. I got to play stuff that's not going to give me a copyright strike. Hey, look. I drew this before the break. Let's see. Before I took a break. Yeah, that's why I didn't stream yesterday. I do music production sometimes. I had a 2-day session. That's the other thing I'm kind of good at. Everything else, just I'm terrible. Terrible. 4DX. Oh, yeah. What is that? 4DX? Hey, look at that. Pretty predictable. Yeah, isn't it the never-ending theme? That were relevant at the time. They're still relevant. This is the music I'm playing, if anyone's curious. This guy's on YouTube. All right, coffee's ready. All right. And we're back. Thanks for joining us today. So that wasn't anything special. Typically, as we know, we're likely going for the stop hunt now and trapping some traders long, and we got to go after this stop. A lot of this stuff occurs in these fib areas. Obviously, if you had gone long here, you're placing your stop loss maybe below here, right, for a break test continuation pattern. It's like you have to know when to do it and when to not do pattern trading. Obviously, you need volume to help filter that. But that looks like, you know, it should have bounced off of there, right? Now, if there was weakness, right, that would be completely different. And this would even be a move that I would be looking to get in, but we didn't. And this is likely just, again, coming down to accumulate. Volume increasing here was the first sign of that, confirming that they're still buying and accumulating, right? So It's something. It's the highest volume in 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, right? 25 minutes. Right in where I marked when we were back here, right? It's nothing magical. It's into this zone. It's where stop losses are on these longs, right? Below there. So again, like, just to talk about the, sorry, I'm supposed to look at 4DX. I know. Okay, you're not going anywhere, Troy, right? Okay, after I make this point. What was I going to say now? Yeah, no sleep. 4DX. Let's do it. You might have a good reason, huh? Am I literally looking up 4DX? Now what do I do? Medical company. ASX. Right? This one. Oh my God. What am I looking at? There's no liquidity. Again, I'm going off not much sleep and just jacked. But I could trade in any state. I could read a chart in any state. What are we seeing? All right, you tell me. Mr. Troy. What are you interested in here? It looks very weak. That's not hard to see, first of all. The big red volume selling into the up moves. Poor Eddie, stop volume still lower to go. Oh, God. This is where Eddie starts to say, oh, no, not again. Yeah, I mean, this thing is going down the drain, right? 4D Medical Limited. You got selling down at your new all-time low, and they're still selling into up moves? This thing's going to zero. This thing looks terrible. I mean, buyers could show up below this level, and you get a fake break or, scare everybody out, buy it up kind of thing. But, I mean, zero's here. You either get a bargain of a lifetime or this thing's dead. Because, man, you normally don't see that much, professional selling this late in a down move. And is that what you were seeing? Well, recently, I mean, that's the background. And, factually speaking, there are short positions here. This volume says, of course, there's some buying, more than you've seen in a few months. Because that last, that was September. There's a bit of buying. If you're thinking of buying this, me personally, I would absolutely not touch it. As far as buying, if I was forced to take a trade on this thing, I would short. You know what I'm saying? Until the buying rivals this. I'm just giving you my analysis. You can see how you see it. But, yeah, the big money is short. And I wouldn't be looking at that amount of volume and saying they're out, right? They're no longer positioned short. They're no longer interested in the price marking down. They got out of the positions, let alone accumulation, but just to get out has not occurred. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's cool. Hey, bring up a random chart. We get a situation, and the chart speaks very clearly here that there is big money positioned short. They're still in these positions. They're very confident about it. They haven't gotten out. And there's so many things to trade, so many opportunities. This would be the last thing. I get what you're saying about, demand coming in here, and that's not false. Yes, there was demand higher than a few months, right? But again, seeing that to my left, I would just be looking to sell on up moves. Whenever you see them selling, it doesn't have to be this huge volume, but, to align with them and sell high. You have a friend that's a big shareholder. My condolences. I'm just kidding. That's just my analysis. Buying a new company on a track record is always going to be risky. He is in heavy profits. Okay. I mean, I guess he must heavy profits. I mean, did he buy down here? I mean, the percentage, I guess, is nice. Yeah, I could see that. Heavy profits, huh? You sure about that? Oh, he bought pre-IPO. I can't even see back there, I guess, huh? Pre-IPO. I didn't even know that was possible. Okay. Gotcha. But yeah, I mean, it's a big blaring. What do you think, Gavin? Supply. I would guess. All right. Things got to change. Your friend might have to sit through some hard times. So says the chart, right? Not me. There are so many, good things as far as potential bullishness that, not knowing where he bought, but, that's not looking so great. I mean, you can see it. So again, what are we doing today? Well, the yen is weak. I was able to do a little scalpy scalps, but if we're going to move down with our very bullish background, I'm not so into selling at all. Now, if we had some short-term, projection of weakness for the near future, right? We don't have that. So any sort of down move here is very, very high probability just a trap move. And it could go up any time it wants, and it will make perfect sense on the chart. That's where it wants to go. Smart money's position long. So I don't want to be selling. And again, very unlikely that this is the high of the day. We could go much higher than this. Today, tomorrow, soon, right? No demand. You texting me now, Carbon? What do you say? Yeah, I know you're just messing. But, I had to say that just because because it's extremely true. I wouldn't mess with that. You know, in a few months maybe. Not a few days in a row. No, I don't do that. Extremely dangerous to sell on these down moves. Extremely dangerous. We know the up moves in these type of situations tend to happen in your U.S. session, but it's still, again, very much so going against where the big money is positioned. So what should we do now? But as it comes down, you know, if you want to mark up areas that are going to tell you about buy activity, like that area, right? And it basically covers this whole box. You could pop down, maybe we get some much higher volume, right? As a rejection, and then start moving up off of that. Is that fib right? Because I drew that a while ago, right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. So dipping into these areas might be the way to go for the long entry. You know, the market seems to be doing this. Maybe I'm noticing it more, or it's doing it more. Because traders are not as dumb as they used to be. Have you noticed that? Like I've been sort of observing, people are kind of taking the Wyckoff, the VSA, the regular technical analysis, all this stuff, and just saying, okay, this is how you read a chart. This is what's going on. And you may have somebody who never studied Wyckoff or VSA or whatever, who still understands it and maybe uses different names, different terms for the same thing, the factual stuff going on. You know, they'll use terms like liquidity, a hunt, and things like that. It's all the same. So if you know what's going on, and my point being that I notice a lot the market starts moving in the direction that, you know, smart analysis, correct analysis says it's going to move. Then it reverses, hunts the stops, and then keeps going. Because people are just not as dumb. People that know what's going on say we're buying today, especially against the yen. So the market starts going up, right? And then, you know, luckily I'm just talking about scalps up here. I'm no fool. But then from there, right, maybe it comes down and hunts their stops before it goes up, and that just makes them more money. AKA liquidity grab, whatever you want to call it with these names. But traders are not so dumb. I think they got to be real sneaky with this. So there's a lot of, you know, you had it right, but you lost anyway. Sir, do you take setups from night before, right before news, about half hour, 1 hour, or near about that time? Not talking about scalping, sir. No. As you get closer and closer to news, and you're not talking about scalping, so you're talking about, right, the main, like buying against the yen today, right? As we get closer and closer to news, I do not want to be getting into a trade. As the news comes out, you know, in the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I do not want to be getting into a trade. And then once you get past that, and the behavior is normal on the chart as far as we're not jumping around and acting like news. Then you start to see what it's telling you from there. The key with news is to see the reaction to the news move, not the initial move. So again, today, it would be textbook. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. This is one example that's very common. The news is bad, I guess. I don't pay attention to the news. It's good, it's bad, whatever. Price drops on the news, right, and gets bought up, and that's the swing low, and we go from there for the rest of the day. We move up. And maybe the reaction to the lower prices on news today is going to show strength. And then you're 15, 20 minutes past news, and right, you're looking to get in. That was it. So that should give you an idea how I deal with that. Again, typically these types of setups are news-centered timing. These type of setups. In the past, because I've been looking at charts for so long, I could tell you it hasn't always been so U.S. focused on these types of setups. Long stretches of time over the years where these setups play out early, in the first few hours of London, and by the time you get to U.S. session, it's played out. You've hit your target, right? News comes out. Maybe it helps you get to your target, whatever. Maybe it says get out, whatever. But you're done by that point, and then from the news, New York Open on, it's a sloppy mess. And the setup was early. And if you haven't been trading that long, right, you may have very rarely seen that lately. We're very U.S. centered on these types of moves, on when the setups play out. But there certainly was periods where it's early, it plays out, you get to New York, the news makes it messy. It's over. See ya. Haven't seen it in a while. Maybe it'll come back again. Trading, I'm in New York. So, getting on the charts at, 8 a.m. Too many times I was missing moves and trying to work my way into a trade that I should have been in earlier, Not so much lately, but it happens. So I took a few long scalps. Right now I'm sitting here waiting. Maybe price is going to have a retracement, see some strength, look to get long. Again, just talked about how it's U.S. Open, U.S. news focused, so maybe it'll happen then. Any sort of short entry is not backed up by weakness on the volume. Not backed up. So there's really nothing to do right now. Strength hasn't really shown up very much. Again, it could be later. But that's what it is right now. Usually start off, a couple of scalps and then get this type of setup U.S. session. That looks like strength coming in on that downward GU. Yeah, a bit, right? Yep. $618 overshoot. Yeah. Here's a test for supply because you have the, or supply. You have the 14 EMA test, the previous support term resistance thingy. And there's not weakness coming in. So yeah, more buying than selling did occur here. Is this a break test continuation possibly of the automatic rally? No, because we're looking at dollar pairs. Okay. No. But yeah, that's what we expect if the market is going to not turn into total nonsense. Down moves should be attracting. All right, like I drew that in advance. Down moves should be attracting higher volume that stop the progress of the move, show you buying, accumulating. That's not a lot of volume, and maybe we'll go lower and see even more. But if it's just flat and you're not seeing any buying into lower prices into these predetermined areas, then the market's just being weird. But we're certainly seeing it. That's just normal behavior right now. So we still see the supply-demand balance to the upside. The U.S. dollar pairs have joined in on this after a sloppy day yesterday. So it looks like weak U.S. dollar as well as weak yen is the forecast here. Buying against them. Oh, Mark the contrarian. Yes, and then also buying. Oh, wait, but you're talking about pound dollar. Yeah. Are you? Wait. Oh, you didn't say. Oh, these are two completely different things, though. You have more straightforward accumulation. I like the euro in particular. But with the dollar pairs, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Weakness, strength close together. Result, getting stuck in the middle. You have equilibrium, even though it's high volume. If it moves up, you go, hey, look, it's the strength playing out. If it moves down, it's the weakness playing out. Pound yen. It did have that higher volume stuff there, but it's the accumulation. This dropped on volume up here. Oh, we saw it on the 5-minute. That's what it was. Right? Yeah. The buying there. The buying there. Buying there. Selling? No. Selling. No. Here, really good price, sellers. No. See the difference there? The dollar, the pound dollar, yeah, weakness. Yen? No. Strength. That's the way I see it. All right, maybe I'll end the stream soon. Only because this is likely taking its time. Well, we did 3 hours. This is likely taking its time. You know, we're in the slow phase right now. And you know what I'm looking for today? I could pop in the Discord. If you're new, if you want to know about live streams, you can join the Discord. The link is in the the description to join the Discord, and I'll let you know, I'm streaming now, I'm streaming in 20 minutes, or I'm going to take a day off. I usually do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. About an hour into London session. See, what keyed us into this not happening right now, and I already pointed out this time that it's not behaving right, was not that weakness came in for this down move, but the markup style buying stopped, basically for no reason, right? Why did this turn, right? Weakness? No. Because they want to buy lower. They just don't want to mark up right now. They mark up when they want. Probably a U.S. session. But, of course, everything I'm saying is subject to the charts behaving and doing these things, right? Coming down and showing strength today. If something else happens, the buyers don't show up, or there's high volume weakness on news, the 1 hour is high volume, weakness on news, right? That could change things. But right now we know where we are, right? Smart money is long, all that business. So it would have to take high volume weakness for that to change. High volume leading to lower prices as a result, typically after, on an up move, right? Do you see strength or weakness on euro? Just messing with you? All good. I don't care. Yeah. Oh, I do. I'm hanging around for the open and seeing if I get the setup around news. Yeah. Sometimes I'm in bed, literally looking at the charts. And I just happen to sleep after that. So, yeah. And when is the news today? Yeah, 8:30 my time. An hour and 20 minutes from now. I'm always up at that time. Yeah, and a few hours into the session. I go to sleep like 11 a.m. By then, you're either getting it or you didn't get it, or you're not. I don't like getting in too late either. Yeah, it's a weird schedule. So like 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. is when I sleep. Wixie, yeah, I heard of that. The straddle trade? Is it called a straddle trade? Not my kind of thing. Not my kind of thing. Place your bets, everybody. Place your bets. Nah. You know what I'm saying? I need to explain why I'm taking a trade, not put a buy and a sell and get picked up by the news move, whatever. Hey, if it works for you, that's it. It's not my thing, that's all. Yeah, I wake up at 6 p.m., about 6 p.m. See, this way I'm home. I have a kid, right? It's no different for them as far as, a normal, she's in school during the day, and then I'm home in the evening. And then everybody goes to sleep, and it's Pete Fader after dark. And music's, recording sessions, which I do here and there, right? That's not starting at 9 a.m. We like the night. So it works. Otherwise, what am I, go to bed at 8 p.m. so I can wake up for London? Oh, that's lame. I'm not doing that. You go to sleep 4 a.m. till, yeah. Yeah, whatever works. Too much risky? Yeah, the straddle trade. Yeah, no thanks. But the feelings you got when you made profits within just seconds, missing them, but pure gambling. Exactly. It's pure gambling. For real. And you know how many times, Wixie, I'm sure you've seen it enough times where, and maybe you have a way of dealing with this, whatever, but you've seen it. The price drops on news. 10 minutes later, it's back to where it started. It completely reversed, right? And then it goes up for the rest of the day, which might happen today. So I'm more interested in what happens off of that first move, not trying to catch it, trying to get information in the first 5-10 minutes. Like you said, yeah, it's gambly. Slippage as well. Yeah. I would just feel like a fool taking a loss on that kind of trade, too. I would just feel like a fool. I gotta go to the track and place a bet. Yeah, exactly. All on black. There you go. Double or nothing on the next news release. Oh, God. All right, so again, if scalps show up to the long side, if we break out of the accumulation range on the yen pairs, I'm happy to get long. But again, as we get closer to New York, we got to worry about the news, and that might lead to the trade entry there. So again, looking to buy the dips, strength, unless the chart changes, something changes, right? All right, guys. That hour either side of U.S. session usually best time. No supply bar. Form on G. You find me. No supply. You think it's time? There's your strength. Kind of wimpy. There's your supply. Yes, lack of supply. Do you think it's time, though? Might not be time. But I went long today earlier. I have, nothing against going long up here if things are right. Probably not time. Come on, you know the game. Probably going to come down and show you some more strength. Again, if we start trending up, right, I get a scalp entry. There's not any sort of issue with supply, right? That's fine. You've seen the ones today already. Yeah, that's my take on it. Hey, 18 Papa, 18 thumbs up. Yes, better have at least 18. YouTube hates me. What we talked about today didn't help. I'm shadow banned from society. But yeah, that would be cool. I know that from what people say, likes on videos and shares maybe even are tracked. I don't know. Has YouTube recommend the video more? So yeah, go ahead and like the video. Doesn't cost you anything. Factual information today, right? All right, guys. It's not time. Ooh, Eddie's getting sweaty now. But he checked the heat map. The heat map said buy. But this. Oh no. Oh no. What's gonna happen? So yeah, mark up where you would put a stop if you were dumb money holding on to long positions now. Where would you? Yeah, you can't take it anymore. You gotta get out. Can't take it anymore. That might be where we're buying today. Very good. Put hashtag into your channel. Hashtag, like on the videos, like in the description or tag. I'm not sure what that is. What do I do? It's never Eddie's time. Nope. Zoom call. You know, there's in the Discord, there's a live thingy there. You guys could always talk in there. Right? Stop picking on Eddie. Yes, I know. It's just business, not personal. All right, guys. I'll try to pop in the Discord. Thanks for attending. Been fun once again. Hopefully good for your educational. Always try to put something good in here. If you're watching in the future after November 16th, have we been nuked yet? Nah, it's not going to happen. The Discord is dead. I know. Oh, you're FX trader. I figured. All right. Maybe people think I'm gonna do some entertainment in the Discord. I don't. Anthony, very welcome. It's weird because there's a lot of people in there. I don't know, 200 or something at least? I have no idea. 300? I don't know. Yeah, it's not like the old days. People used to be chatty. We used to be on Skype. Future people. Did we go up against the yen, future people? Check the charts, November 16th. Or maybe the chart said don't. But right now it's on. Telegram. Is that better? I was just going to go, Mr. Ricardo. Accumulation. Can I give you the short version? We'll talk about it next time. Accumulation is late in a down move into lower prices. This is the standard definition. Volume increases and the down moves stop on the high volume, stopping volume, strength. And you go into a sideways range where you see more volume off the lows than the highs, simply put. Nobody sees it if you don't know what's going on, and it looks like a downtrend going into pullback or consolidation. But it's actually a building up of long positions as others are selling, right? Eddie sells. Once the supply is low enough, once smart money feels like it, they could have done it today so far. They didn't quite feel like it yet. Then they switch over from buying into down moves, accumulation, right, to buying in such a way to mark up price intentionally. And at that point, it's easy because the supply is gone. Everybody's short that was willing to go short. Gotcha. Right? Okay. We'll talk about it more next time. Yeah, Discord, Schmiscord. At least I tell people when I'm streaming. All right, guys, have a good one. Probably, most likely, I'll be streaming tomorrow. Let you know. It's been fun. Take care. See you soon. Thanks for attending.